Hello, I'm Chiranjib Sengupta and you're here with me at the Energy Connect studio at EGYPES 2025 in Cairo. I'm delighted to have sitting next to me in the studio today Dietmar Sierdorfser, the Managing Director for Middle East and Africa at Siemens Energy. Thank you so much, Dietmar, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. To start off, what are your thoughts on the role of natural gas as an enabler of a low carbon future?
I mean, first of all, we are happy to be here at EGYPES. It's a testament also that natural gas plays a role because Egypt is a natural gas country. They have evolved over the past. Natural gas is something that we see growing. A few years ago, everybody was talking about natural gas as a fuel that is obsolete. Gas turbines were not required, and in the meantime, we see a boom. This boom is happening because we see, first of all, a big electricity growth all over the world. Historically, it was maybe 2-3%. In the meantime, we are at 5% growth rate. And we are deploying a lot of renewables into the market. There is a huge growth in renewables, but the world also learned in the last few years that also natural gas has to play its role. And it's important because we have to get rid of coal. Coal is a heavy emitter of CO2. More than 1/3 in the world is still attributed to coal, and they are emitting 60% more of CO2 than gas-fired power stations, for example. And only 25% in the world power generation and electricity generation is done with gas-fired power stations. So it's important that we grow this to reduce emissions and also give a destiny in the future so that we use this technology also for future gases like hydrogen and others alike in order to generate our power.
That's an excellent point. And what is Siemens Energy doing in this regard in order to grow that share of gas-fired power plants?
So there's, first of all, as I indicated, a huge demand in the world. So we see in the US, in the Middle East, but also in many other countries, we see a huge demand out of the electricity growth. We see that also the demand is there, that we deploy technology, then the future is hydrogen ready. So we are developing our technology and gas turbines all to be 2030 fully hydrogen ready, 100%. And we have in the meantime already some tests running with gas turbines on 100%. And we have all kinds of fuel mixes in the meantime, which we can feed into gas turbines so that you also secure your investments that you do today into technology that you run the next 25, 30 years. I think what needs to change is that the narrative in the world needs to change, that natural gas is really a fuel also that supports the energy transition. We are developing also technology that is helping to reduce the CO2 with carbon capture. So we capture the carbon out of the flue gas that is coming out of the power station, and with that we reduce, of course, the CO2 emissions. And we have even more advancement on that. We are developing currently technology that is doing direct air capturing. So you take the CO2 out of the atmosphere and you take the CO2 out to store it somewhere in caverns, and you really reduce with that the emissions to zero. This is technology that is still in development. It's technology that will also has its cost associated to it, but the way forward is that we can do zero CO2 emission power plants also with natural gas.
And with the deployment of, like you said, CCS, DAC, and all other technologies, how Siemens Energy what is the overall strategy, if you could share with us, in reinforcing the role of natural gas as a destination fuel?
We believe in an intelligent fuel mix. So we are deploying technology for gas-fired power stations. We are increasing efficiency there. We are developing our gas turbine technologies to be better. We are providing also wind turbines, offshore, onshore. So we are really also deploying renewable technology. And we are doing also the integration into the grid, because that's an element that we see also that is typically underestimated, that the grid needs to be stabilized in the future and the grid needs to be enhanced. It was very underinvested in the last decades, and now a lot of countries see that they need to heavily invest into that. And the element of gas turbines is to use them also in the future as peakers, but also to stabilize in a base load the grid operation when you have a lot of renewables there. Additionally to that, we are deploying technology for hydrogen. So we have a gigafactory deployed last year. We inaugurated it. And it can produce electrolyzers. And this is technology that will help us in the future also to generate the hydrogen that we need in order to reduce the even gas that we are using today in power generation and use hydrogen as a fuel for the gas turbines, for example, or in other elements in the decarbonization of the industry, because hydrogen will play their role as well there. So this is something that we do. Additionally, when you look on the portfolio of Siemens Energy, we are providing also technologies to pump the gases and pump the fuels from A to B. So we have compressor technology. This is something that we deploy also in a big scale at the moment all over the world, because LNG and gas is really something that is growing. And we see that we also ramp up capacity there. And we do also the electrical integration of all these systems. So that's, in essence, in 2 minutes, maybe the portfolio of Siemens Energy.
What are your thoughts and what are you really looking forward to?
Yeah, I took over Africa in my responsibility last year, and when I had a look on it, I saw really that in Africa there is huge potential. I think we need to look into Africa that when you look on global scale, 800 million people have no access to electricity. When you look where are they living, then you see 600 million people of that live in Africa. So, and Siemens Energy has in its mission, we want to energize society. So our mission is saying we want to help these people also to get access to electricity. So that's something where we can deploy our technologies. And I think also that Africa has the right to use the natural resources they have. And they have, a lot of countries have natural gas. They are not utilizing it today because it's difficult to get finance for natural gas projects and for fossil projects today. And I believe we need to change this narrative, and that at the end of the day also such projects will come to life, and that also the people and the industries in these countries and the societies will get the possibility to grow and get their share of wealth in the world.
And going back to the beginning, where you mentioned that we are here at EGYPES 2025, Siemens Energy is right here. What are your expectations from this event, and what is Siemens Energy showcasing here?
Siemens Energy is here because we believe Egypt is a very vital market. We believe Egypt is having a role that is going even beyond Egypt at the moment. It's something where the community comes together, discuss also how they will tackle the challenges that we have in the energy industry. And we are showcasing our whole portfolio here. We are giving lectures also about new technologies that we are deploying. And for us, it's an important part to come together with our partners that we have here in the country, but also in the region.
Dietmar, it's always such a pleasure to have you with us in the studio, and thank you once again for coming down here.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and you can get more studio interviews like this and comprehensive coverage of the energy industry at energyconnects.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media, and I'll be back with more studio interviews from EGYPES 2025 in Cairo. Until then, goodbye.